Check. Quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
I hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay. Happy CPI Thursday.
Happy CPI Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to At the Buzzer, our market recap. This is your first time here. The goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. This is our first time meeting. I'm Jay, the Topstep performance coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some of my experiences, some wisdom, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. You are all our chat, our audience. Thanks for joining us each and every day that you do. We appreciate you being here. Shout out to Dan Trader and Bink in the chat, number 1 and 2 in the chat. Good to see you guys here. CPI day. Let's go through the calendar. We did have some economic numbers out today. Initial jobless claims came in at 224,000. Forecast was 225. US CPI year over year came in at 2.7%. Forecast was 3.1%, much lower than expected. Month over month CPI came in at 0.204%. Forecast was 0.3%, lower than expected there as well. Core CPI came in at 2.6%. Forecast was 3%, and core CPI month over month came in at 0.159%. Forecast was 3%. So inflation coming in much lower than expected. They had some Michelin star chefs working on that CPI. Comment there from Billy in the chat. Inflation down. That is what the data says. Fed is data dependent, and we get the Fed's inflation gauge tomorrow with that PCE number, or favored inflation gauge with that PCE number tomorrow. We have consumer spending tomorrow as well, Michigan sentiment as well. So this is the last full week of trading for the year. I know a bunch of traders are looking for Santa, and maybe Santa gave the markets favorable inflation data. And could that do it? See if how that affected the markets today. As far as earnings goes, we just did have FedEx and Nike report earnings. FedEx came in, earnings per share came in at $4.82. Estimate was $4.12. They beat on revenues as well, 23.5 billion. Estimate was 22.8 billion. For Nike, well, who in the chat still buys Nikes? Just curious. Earnings per share came in at 53 cents versus 78 cents year over year. Revenues came in at 12.43 billion. Estimate was 12.24 billion. So beat on revenues. Looks like a slight miss on earnings per share there. SJR still buys Nikes. I think they're cool. I got a couple pair.
I have no brand loyalty. Whatever this is the best deal, I buy.
Yeah, I got some. Shout out to Coach Prime. Bought some his sneakers the other day, but yeah, just curious. I know there are a lot of you probably see it with your athletes, Coach Paul. A lot of the kids basketball players aren't wearing Nike sneakers, right? They've moved on to like Adidas or New Balance, maybe taking some of the market share away from Nike.
Well, I personally prefer New Balance.
Yeah.
That's my go-to. It's just a well-made shoe.
Yep.
And it's multi-purpose. But basketball shoes, I'm still a Nike guy. If I was still playing.
Yeah. Yeah. The latest pair I bought are Kobe's, and they're not the most comfortable to play in. After like an hour or two, your feet start to hurt, but they're good. They're good.
An hour or two. Oh, you're a warrior.
Yeah, I haven't played in a little while, but I do need to get back out there. All right, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to hit the like button, like Heather said, and talk about these markets. To the downside today, we have 36 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts today. To the downside, we had soybean oil down 0.91%, silver down 2.3%, and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the downside, down 2.93%. To the upside, we had platinum up 1.09%, the NASDAQ up 1.27%, and lean hogs, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, up 1.3%. To talk about our big five, we got crude oil up 0.13%, the S&P up 0.64%, gold down 0.23%. We already talked about natural gas down 2.86% now, and the NASDAQ up 1.27% on the day. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ on a daily here. What are you seeing here, Coach Paul?
Well, look where the high was. The moving averages were underneath them. We're an inside day. Had a nice rally. Still, it's still holding a burden. It was a nice rally for the short term. Felt like more of short covering, but it's got a lot of work to do to regain that upside momentum.
Yes, it does. And it looked like it had the potential to today. We'll take a look at the 30-minute chart. We got a couple things going on here, but let me take. I feel like we only on the 30-minute only really pay attention to that 200. But there is the 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart. We've been under it all week, and today was the first test of it for a little while. We had some nice trading up there, but not a lot of conviction up here as far as volume goes above that 200 moving
No,
average. And we talked about this during the opening call. You know, price could trade above, price could advertise above, but is it going to sustain the move if there's no volume behind it? And I think we got an answer with the way the market traded today.
well, yeah, and look at the highest volume.
Yep, that was the opening candle, opening 30-minute candle.
And they couldn't really, I mean, it traded above that, but not with conviction.
Right.
But tomorrow is another day. But this is the test. We ran after we really just trading inside yesterday's range
Big inside day for sure.
after all that. So that still has like I said, a burden or a hurdle to continue the upside. This to me was more of bargain buying or short covering. That tomorrow's number looms large. This is PC is the Fed's inflation gauge, and we know there's some friction between the Fed and the president. I think that's going to lead to some heavy trading tomorrow. Especially, I think, really, it's kind of the last trading day of the year, considering the next 2 weeks are going to be broken up.
Yep.
This is going to lead to some, I think, some big movement tomorrow, a possibility. But interesting, we couldn't break yesterday's high. Where did we go to? Yesterday's opening.
Yesterday's open, right?
And a lot of that happened last night. We had a nice rally last night. We had the news candle, and we never broke the news candle. So we're sitting here neutral. I think tomorrow, if we get some selling, we could be violent. But that's what I think. I'll trade it as it comes. But we're under the 20 and the 50 still. I said we've got some work to do. What else do you see in that, Coach?
So we have the news candle, like Coach Paul is talking about here. Here is that news candle here. An interesting spot to frame out the day. If you look at how the market traded around this candle, we held 50% of it pretty nicely, which ended up being near that 25,200 level. But if we take a look at a shorter time frame, honestly, I think all of my trades today were to the short side in the equities. And the initial trade, we had the news candle. We had the opening range. And if we look at it, right, we had a little bit of urgency to the downside on that opening range, right? So I get to see the market like this. So I'm shorting off of this retest of volume here, looking for price acceptance into that news candle. And if you look at it, it's a counter flow trade, right? The flow to the upside today was The flow for the market today was to the upside. We had that full session VWAP trending upwards, so I had to have reasonable expectations. But to me, my better trade of the day, and we talked about it with Dakota and Yusuf, is 25,400 here, right? We talk about this often. What is the market's response when we get to a whole number level? Is it going to hesitate there, or is it just going to blow right through it? Right now, 25,400, which, like Coach Paul just said, was near where we started the sell off yesterday, was a price that we saw the market get up to, advertise above, but look at where volume is now in relation to this. So this is where I start to look for a short. Now, I think how I probably could have traded this a little bit better was waiting for a trigger, which is price action and volume away from this area, because it did take a little while, right? We sat up here for an hour and a half before the market decided that it was going to break out of this range. So there was a couple scratch trades in here. There was a couple, hey, there's profit, but now it's coming back, so I'm going to take a little bit off. But eventually, the market shows that it's going to trade back to volume if there is no intention of continuing to trade higher here. Is it considered failed selling? Is what considered failed selling? Finish down here or up here? I would consider this exhausted or failed buying. Not even really failed buying. They just kind of stopped. Right? It was just
I
like,
think that's a great description.
we've had
It
enough.
just stopped.
Yeah.
And where did it stop? As you have that white line was yesterday's where we broke.
Right. Which
Now, if we look at a daily candle, I bet you it looks like it. Without looking at it, it looks like an indecision candle. Now,
pretty bullish daily candle, right? We came off of that 25,000 level last night. We had a really nice rally. If you look at last night, once we started going, there was no. We're talking about failed buying up here at these 25,500s. There was really not a lot of interest to sell this below 25,000, which is another big round number. We had, we opened up below it initially, but volume never left that first 30-minute range. Not a lot of interest in selling this either. So by the time we got to the London session, decent rally, but big inside day. The market is comfortable trading these prices. We know we got more data out tomorrow, potential catalysts. One thing Dakota mentioned was, on this daily, we're seeing this downtrend, kind of downward channel here. But this was a good trading day. Ton of opportunity on both sides. You could have traded, made a couple round trips in this market, or do what I did, take a couple shorts. They worked out, and then I went to go do something else. We literally made the same trip. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
is that considered random?
Is it random or controlled?
Well, I would say this. You had said, going back, we had a lot of rally last night. Then we had the candle from the news. That was on what kind of volume? Light volume.
Yeah.
So, but we had a big price movement. So, like I said, up there, the buying stopped. I mean, it was the big range. We were up like 500, 550 at that time. No. We're going to need fresh energy, fresh buying. And then what happened? We went how many minutes just at that level? And didn't find any buying.
Yep.
That's really like the buying stopped.
Yes, it did. Janish is asking, did I put up a volume profile for the day? I didn't, but I know what you're looking at, and shout out to all the volume profile traders out there. Point of control up here, right? It flipped up, and this is just the New York session, looking at the New York session, but that point of control flipped up there. That means that's absorption of price or acceptance of price up there. There had to be some sellers that came in up there to slow us down. You can see that point of control continue to flip up. And not a lot of interest, right? Point of control flipped up here. VWAP is still lower. Not a lot of interest up here. And it ends up setting that value area high somewhere near 25,380s. Really nice trading day. Really nice trading day. I forgot to ask in the chat. How did everyone's trading day go today? I know there was a lot of back and forth, and the one thing I am conscious of, and we talked about it when we were trading earlier, Coach Paul, took a couple shorts, was up on the day, and said, you know what, I'm going to be patient because the market really hasn't chosen a direction. Compared today, even though I love the price action we had today, because although it was a range day, the range for the New York session was 220 points. So I could find some opportunity in that. Yesterday's type of price action is my favorite type of price action because the market chose a direction and went in that direction the entire day. On a day like today, if you're not comfortable having a flexible bias, like we saw Braden during fast markets, Braden came in wanting to short this thing and then caught a 100-point move to the upside because that's what the day presented. And he was able to take advantage of that. But if you held on to a short bias, and like I said, I had a good day today. All of my trades were to the short side. So I had to be very patient because I didn't really see a great reason to buy this market. There was some. I just didn't see them. So it's just like, you see your favorite quarterback playing. You're like, oh, why didn't he throw that pass? He guys has a guy wide open down the field. There's a reason he didn't throw that pass, right? He might not be comfortable throwing it. And I just didn't see a reason to buy this today. So I had to be very specific about where I was going to try to short it. And it was on the failure of buying up above 25,400s.
I agree. I took a short in the NASDAQ early on a 3-minute breakout with VWAP. Took my initial loss, and when we talked, I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's not my kind of market to trade.
Right.
Where we can get caught up is trying to make that money back. And on a day like today, where you have those violent, 5 different up and down whipsaw moves, you got to be careful. You could turn a $150 loss into a $1,500 losing day.
Yep.
Has anybody ever done that?
I definitely have. I caught myself today. We were on with Dakota and Yusuf. Shout out to Yusuf. It's his birthday today. I was shorting down here. I was shorting at these lows. I shorted and I clicked the lockout button. So that's enough. That is enough. Because if you're going to short in good trade location on a day like today, great. If you're going to short at the low of the market, when that's where it's turned around, you've stopped seeing the market correctly. And now it's risk management time. Because like you just said, Coach Paul, could have turned a winning day into a big losing day, getting stuck to a bias on a day where the market is saying, we're gonna give everybody an opportunity today, right? It's like participation trophies. If you can wait your turn in line, you're gonna get a trade. You're gonna get a trade. Right? Everyone's gonna have fun today, but you gotta wait in line. No pushing, no shoving. Right? Get in line, and everybody's gonna get theirs. But if you try to force the market on a day like today, it was taking your money. So had to be conscious of that for sure. All right, let's take a look. Just want to look at the S&P really quick. Still inside that October 10th candle, just like the NASDAQ is. Rejected right near that high. Very similar story today. Traded above that 200 moving average. No volume above the 200. We talked about this one during the opening call as well. Shout out to Coach Paul with this 200 moving average. That lined up almost exactly with the high of that October 10th candle this morning. And we traded 7 points above it. Right? So that's a good spot to, if you're going to sell a market that's rallying for a day trade, looking at the higher time frame and saying that this is a level of contention for buyers can give you a nice opportunity to sell it up here. Again, right at yesterday's open for the New York session. Anything else on the equities?
Rusty, what's the weak cousin?
Let's take a look at the Russell.
Look at the high of the Russell today.
Well, what is that white line in the Russell? Another one.
It was a different. So it seems to me the rotation is back to be buying the risky asset, getting out of the stable asset. But it did not. It traded differently. It rejected that 200 daily back in, but we have that sharp high, sloppy buying. It did finish higher, but it wasn't very convincing.
Not at all.
So,
Not at all. Almost a perfect rejection up there. And then why don't we look up at the Dow? Very similar. All the equity markets today, very similar days today. A lot of back and forth. But what is that white line? I'm curious how many people are using this 200 moving average in their trading. Interesting spot to look up there. Interesting spot to look up there. Was there news at 10 a.m.? I was looking at how gold moved as much as there was. I was away from. I don't remember. Gonna be honest. Anyone know if there was news at 10 a.m.? I don't remember anything. Maybe. Oh, you know what it was? Nvidia did have that AI conference. Outside of that, I did not see a headline. Going to be honest.
yeah, gold was a. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into gold.
But there was good opportunity in Rusty today.
Yeah, that definitely was. Again, both sides today. Sometimes the market gives you two-sided trade, right? Everyone could have won today, right? This is where, if you're in the right location and you're saying, oh, this is an obvious short, you could be right. If you're in the right location to say this is an obvious long, you could be right. Both people are right today. Just depends on how you look at the market. Right? We can flip this over. And trades on both sides. All right, let's take a look. 200 moving average on the 30, 64 hour daily is king. That white line is my new friend. Why did gold sell off after a massive rally? We'll take a look. We had a request. We don't really look at this market, but the Nikkei. Make sure my charts aren't inverted. All right, the Nikkei. On the daily. I don't know the last time I looked at this. It looks kind of like everything else. Looks very similar to everything else. Honestly, this looks like a NASDAQ chart. Know where I'm gonna go. October 10th candle. Hey, it's relevant here too. Like a cheat code. Instant money glitch. October 10th candle. That's not real. I wish there was an instant money glitch, but
well, if you do find one, be kind enough to let me know.
I got you. We'll keep it a secret so no one automates it. Yeah, the Nikkei under the 200 moving average on the 30-minute. This looks very similar to the other equity markets, right? Where I would, we're seeing higher lows on the daily. It's a downtrend. Maybe we're not getting as close. Yeah, go ahead, Coach Wall.
Lower lows.
That's what I meant. Lower highs. I said higher. Yeah. Lower highs. Yeah. Can't wait to watch the Nikkei tonight. So could be a very interesting market to watch tonight, right? We have a Bank of Japan rate decision. So the yen, the Nikkei, the metals, the equities could be a very interesting slow markets tonight for sure. All right. If Japan raises rates other than hurting the carry, what will it do to their equity market? Coach Paul, you know that one? You have any idea? Japan raises rates?
I have no idea.
No idea.
If it raises rates, now I can tell you from an economic point of view, if they raise rates, they'll be negative for equities. That's the projection.
Money's more expensive.
Money's more expensive. But just like anything else, if we're trading a day trade, you have to wait for the info and read the market as it comes to you. How many times? Well, here they could raise the rates, and then we could have a rally because we could have large shorts, and it doesn't react.
Right.
So
right. Read the reaction.
That's why I say plan your trade. The market's going to. We're just, and I'll quote Coach Jay: "Don't swim in front of that shark. Wait for some structure to follow." Where we can get caught up is they raised the rates. This sucker's going down.
This has to happen. Yeah, man. I've been there.
This sucker's going down, and not only that, I'm gonna make $1 million today.
Yeah. Even if it does, right? Even if it does go down, is it going to do it in the time frame that you're able to make a day trade, right? We have to remember we're day trading here. Could it affect markets? I see some, some headlines out there that, Japan rate hike could lead to a 20% correction in Bitcoin, right? 20% pullback in Bitcoin. In that 20% pullback, are there going to be 2%, 3%, 4% counter trend moves? 100%. Now, if I just blindly sell it because it should go down 20%, I could be selling at the low of one of those corrections for a day trade, get stopped out, be right about the direction, but wrong about the timing and location. And that's where we really need to be as day traders, right? The overall context, the higher time frame, all of that can help maybe set the table, but I have to trade what's at the table, right? I have to trade what's in front of me in real time. If I'm going to trade every day, right? Maybe I could wait for a higher time frame level and only trade on certain days when they get there, right? Maybe an interesting idea. What if I traded the NASDAQ and only traded rejections of the 200 moving average? I wouldn't have traded it yesterday, wouldn't have traded it the day before that. Right? That could be a strategy. But if you're going to trade every day, you got to trade the market that's in front of you. Take a look here at, unless you see some questions there you want to get to, let's take a look at gold.
Let's take a look, because that was a vicious animal today.
It tried it, man. It tried it. Gold finally traded back above 4,400 for the first time on this contract, for the first time since we framed out this candle. This is the first time above that 4,400. It looked like it was going to do it. Had a couple, maybe a 0.5% to go, get to all-time highs, and there it went back into the range. What are you seeing here on the daily?
It's funny that gold ended up lower than when it opened.
Yeah.
We had a violent half-hour rally, but still, this market is still intact. It's very bullish,
Yep.
but it doesn't even look volatile in that.
No. I mean, these are pretty
At
big ranges, though.
$4,000, no one who can afford. No one. There's maybe a handful of people who can afford to trade the big contract effectively.
Keyword there.
It's even with the micro, it's almost more risk than a NASDAQ. It's very comparable.
It is.
But there's good opportunity if you manage the uncertainty with risk management. But I'm still looking for buys. It was sloppy for most of the day, and then there was a big buying half hour. Let's look at the half hour.
Let's look at the half an hour here. Yeah, we traded above that 4,400, but look at VWAP for the day. What is that? Nothing happened. Stayed flat the whole day. Decent little selling last night. Not a whole lot to write home about. Took a little while, but where did we trade down to? What is that white line? 200 moving average. Then we get the news here, and whatever this was, I don't know what this news spike was. This was right at the equity open. We look below it. This was just a lot of back and forth today in gold.
Well, we had a selling J trade on the sell side on that little spike before that.
Oh, this one you're saying?
Seems to me that selling, there were stops above it that drove this to highs. It was. I'm telling you, I think I'm not going to trade gold.
Yeah.
Till the beginning of the year. I mean, who traded gold today and nailed it?
Who traded gold? Who in the chat traded the metals, gold, silver? Another one where we got to a big fat round number. I kind of wish I was watching this at this time, because 4,400, we did trade above it, but no volume traded above. It's almost that same trade in the NASDAQ, right, where we fail. Same thing down here. No volume below that 200 moving average, even though price traded below. It's a nice opportunity. Get a better price than everybody else.
If we go back to the daily, Look at the settlement from the all-time high settlement. The close was 44.1070. What was today's high?
Candle that made the
44
all-time high. I have it somewhere here. On this chart, I have it at 44.1320, and that's pretty much right at today's high. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we got there in a half an hour. What happened?
Rejection. No more buying. Everybody stopped.
No more buying.
Turn the faucet off.
So we did get back up there. We haven't made all-time highs. It needs more work. This kind of action, this distinct possibility, this can continue for the next 2 weeks. But that's my assumption. But we've seen this. This isn't the same gold market that was trading earlier in the year. It's finding some volatility intraday.
Absolutely. Got some traders in the chat that traded gold. Monica did. Trader X says traded gold, $700 profit. Pretty Girls traded platinum. Pretty Girls love platinum. Look at platinum today. See it? Some urgency last night. A lot of back and forth action as well. Came up to this 2000 level, rejected up there. Janish says, I only do NASDAQ. Imagine if you bought the rally in the middle and you watched that thing come back down to your stop loss. I mean, yeah, this is this is pretty wild action here in gold, because these sell-offs, and we've seen this. When was that day we had a $90 sell-off in gold in 15 minutes?
Yep.
This was kind of close. That was
it was an $80 run up.
Right.
All in an hour. Let's look at the hourly chart.
This is why, Coach Paul, could you and who just said that? Pie Trades in the chat just said it, right? There's definitely a trader who traded this that said, we're going to all-time highs right here. They might have bought it right here. We're going to all-time highs, 100%. And my good friend, Coach Paul, says that 2-to-1s on day trades are great trades. You could have a target higher than this. And, you know, everyone has different management styles, but at some point you probably got a 2-to-1 to the long side. If you got hungry eyes, or like my mom used to say, your eyes got too big for your stomach, right? You put too much food on your plate, it came right back. It came right back. And again, this is not a small move here. But if you had bigger eyes than what the market did, that hurts.
Let's take a look at the hourly chart on gold real quick. 2 ships passing in the night.
Yep.
That is a J trade, though.
It is. Yeah, we did close below it, and we're holding below it.
Yeah. That's how much risk is in this market. How many points, how many dollars is that?
60? 50?
So, 1 mini, $50. Oh, okay. Be quick.
Is that 5 grand or is that 10? Did I measure that right? I think it's 5, right?
Right, it's 5 grand.
5 grand. It's pretty expensive. Well, you got micros. You have micros, and even then, you still need good trade location. Micros by themselves don't mean lower risk, especially if I put too many on. It's like Pringles. Right? Like, oh, it's just one chip. Then you eat 20 of them, 30 of them, and now it's the same as eating the whole bag. So just be careful out there.
All right, let's look at silver.
This looks very bullish. It's just breakout, make an all-time high flag. Breakout, make an all-time high flag. What are you seeing here?
Possible flag.
Right.
I mean, still bullish structure on its way to $100. That's just I'm not saying it's going to $100, but it's very bullish. Buy the dips. See if you can afford to trade it. I hold silver away. Yeah.
The last time we took out a prior day low in silver was that heavy volume candle, right? And we talked about this. As long as we hold this low, this is a market that is still bullish. We closed above it yesterday. We tested into that candle again today. Silver ended the day lower than it started, right? Lower than settlement, but on a higher time frame, this is still in an uptrend. Hogue said it this morning, where silver felt like it had the potential, or was it Hogue or Coach Ray, or both? I think it was Coach Ray. He said silver felt like it was just going to be a range day today. Did take a look near that 200 moving average. Was this a healthy pullback near that 200 moving average back into the range of that high volume candle and holding above? Is that a necessary healthy pullback for the next leg up? We'll see. We don't know for sure, but kind of looked a little heavy up here for the day. But again, you look at what happened yesterday. Not so, silver can keep running to 100, but I'm not surprised that 2% pullbacks on the way there, especially after a 5% day yesterday. Anything else you got on silver?
That's it.
That is it. When I see double-sided wicks a bunch, I look at a different market. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
I think what that tells me is that you're not a range trader, right? Because a range trader might love that. Hey, there's wicks on both sides. I can identify where those extremes are and operate from there. But Blue Eye, I'm with you. When it's too many wicks, it's just like that. That just looks like I'm gonna get chopped up. So there's probably somewhere else that the money's moving a little bit more fluidly. Let's go find that. Let's take a look at crude oil. This is probably not the place, but what are you seeing here on the daily in crude, Coach Paul?
Well, a chance for a double bottom. And that's a chance. Still, would we correct it half of yesterday's range? It's got work to do to be a buy. But 55.
Yep.
Still above it. That means nothing. That's just a price. But we went into half, 50% of yesterday's range, but low volume. Interesting. Yesterday's high volume, which to me would be short covering, we held 50% of that candle. So we'll see. I'm definitely short covering. So this is look what it did last night. Now, there was this rally. Last night, there was this unknown. What was the president going to say?
Right around here, he said energy prices are going to come down. Oh, well, look at that. Dakota and I were talking about this during slow markets yesterday. We said there's a couple markets to watch while he's speaking. Oil is going to be one of them because, we're close to that $55 level. He's said that he wants oil under $55. We had what was going on with Venezuela and, the equities, metals, oil was one to watch, and energy prices are going to come down. 1.5% move to the downside.
And look where okay, now let's look last night where we opened, right at the 200, above it. And it didn't even, it was like it was programmed.
Yeah.
It was instant.
It's like somebody's watching at the buzzer.
I don't think that does it justice how quickly that broke. Yeah. Now, if we looked at last night's, it was the flat VWAP We did break out of that opening on a 3-minute under VWAP. That was the first clue of some selling. Still a sloppy market. But at the 200, then it died.
Yeah.
Really still tough. You got to really pick your spots. Or maybe it's easier in trading silver right now. So back into the randomness that it's been in. Let's see if we can get, another thing is get VWAP to close above that 200 again. What's the 20-day moving average?
$58.13.
Yeah, it's got a lot of work to do.
Yes, it does. Or it could just keep selling off.
It could.
$55, go to 50, go to 0. It's heavy. Not really holding a bid over the past couple of days. Take a look at natural gas. This one is been in a little bit of a sell-off here. One of our biggest percentage movers to the downside today. Looked like it was going to rally. Looked like it had the legs to rally. And then we got that natural gas number out at 10:30 Eastern time today. And that, I mean, we were already selling off from there, but got pretty heavy again from there. So what I'm seeing in a lot of these markets, a lot of them traded near that 200 moving average on the 30-minute today. A lot of back and forth action on both sides. Two-sided trade. What's really directional right now, right? If you had to put it in the chat, if all the markets that we look at, if you look at a higher time frame, what market would you say is really directional right now, and in what direction is that going? Just curious.
You know, looking at natural gas, let's look at the opening half hour from last night.
All right.
So last night it got dragged down by crude, but there was no urgency in it. When I call urgency, it's got to be within the first 5 candles. But once again, where do we get support?
Right off that 200.
Now, really starts trading about 7 o'clock Eastern time, and see where the volume starts coming in. So we had good, at that time, that was the highest volume.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a series, here we go. We had a series of push up. The buying comes in, larger volume every half an hour, larger volume. That is a J trade, buying exhaustion. So if you bought it over the 200 and you had a nice trade, you got new information. Maybe you don't sell it at the high, but you got new information. And what was that information? Buying exhaustion. And this is one of the things that as you develop as a trader, is to understand things can change. I've been caught before being long in a situation like this, and not going, well, it's got it. If it comes back there, I'll get out. Only to watch it come right back down and then get frozen. This could be natural gas. This could be crude oil. It could be NASDAQ. Because we deal with incomplete information. At that point, with that high volume, and then we close below it, you might not have gotten out of the high, but you got some information to get out of longs or perhaps establish a short.
Nice trade there in natural gas. I saw one. Bitcoin. Somebody mentioned Bitcoin is maybe trending right now, and it has been kind of directional here. We talked about this rally. Is this short covering or is this buyers actually stepping in here? This market looks heavy. Are still holding 50% of that J trade daily candle that we had. 85,000 is right around that price. That's a lot of wicks down there too. What is happening with this market? We're under the 20-day moving average, holding it as it's almost a trend line, holding it as resistance. What are you seeing here?
Holding here, but precariously. What do you talked, we keep rejecting the 20 moving average on the daily. All the buying gets rejected. We see that wicking, heavy wicking on every rally. It can't hold buying. So to me, it's more liquidation. We're heading towards the end of the year. Some tax things, but how many days in a row have we held this 50%? 4 days?
4 days, yeah.
Let's look at the half hour.
This is consolidate. Honestly, I'm gonna flip that over. What chart looks like this right now? There's a chart that we just saw that looked exactly like this, and the next part of it played out, and then there's another chart that we're looking at that we just looked at that looks exactly like this right now. Just curious, who's I did have to flip this Bitcoin chart over. Gold, right? Gold looks exactly like this right now. That's actually the same candle, I believe. November 21st. Hold on. No, October 21st is it's October 21st in gold.
I'm getting dizzy.
Gold. Okay, so sorry. My brain just got locked into what is happening here. But if we flip this chart over, this is a daily chart we'd be talking about. As long as this low holds, I'm looking for that high to get retested if we can close above 50%. If this was a bullish chart, right? I had to flip the chart over for it to look like this, but now look at what silver was doing, right? Silver was just in that consolidation. We said the same thing. As long as this holds, we're looking for a breakout higher, right? We flip it over. Now that kind of looks like the Bitcoin chart and the inverted gold chart. I'm sorry if anybody else is dizzy right now. This is making a lot of sense in my head. But yeah, Maximus, I see your comments. I don't code the trading platform. I cannot add features. I can request them. And if you guys request features, but there's not much I can do there. Sorry about that. If it's requested enough, then it can get added, but not much I can do there. But let's get back to Bitcoin on a daily. It looks like if it closes below this 50%, it's going to break out.
Yeah. And guess what? Japan decision at 8 p.m. Central Time tonight. That could be a catalyst. All right.
Yes, it can be. Yes, it can be. All right, Coach Paul, any other markets you want to take a look at before we get out of here for today?
Let's look at the Japanese yen. Bet you kept that trend line on there.
Huh.
That's been on there for a while.
Working.
So before I say anything, let's let the chat chime in. What does that look like?
downtrend.
One of the most
Looks,
important rate decisions of our lifetime.
yeah,
I mean, that's hardly a bullish chart. Look out below, says Courtney. It kind of looks that way. A trend is a trend. We would have to have, to me, some violent reversal action, such as an engulfing candle, but where it makes new lows and then new highs, intervention. I don't think the Bank of Japan is interested in intervention now. They have other problems. I'm going to add some more to your debt. Tonight, I'll be looking at the Japanese yen.
let's take a look at the 30-minute. What is that? What is that white line up there? Nice rejection again today. Another two-sided market. Reacted to the data that came out as well. Candle could not hold, and we sold back off. Going to be an interesting night tonight. Going to be an interesting night of trading for sure.
Yes. So if you're if you trade at night, beware of that time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that's, someone just said, it's going to affect a lot of markets.
Yep. Right now we have the Bank of Japan rate decision scheduled for, is that 11:30? Yeah. So I know military time, 11:30 Eastern time. So after slow markets is over, and we know that that's a tentative number. So sometimes they can, it just doesn't release exactly at the time. But going to be an interesting night tonight for sure. So let's get out of here and get ready for that. I will be on slow markets tonight. Special Thursday night edition. I will be on slow markets. Coach Paul, anything you got to say before we get out of here for today?
Hey, once again, if you're going to trade, have a plan, trade that plan. Don't act on impulse. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. We got Coach Hoop doing his class in Discord after this. And then after that, Coach Ray and Coach Vince, 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central Time. I will be on slow markets tonight at 7:30 Central. Then we got Aaron with the London Open tomorrow, 1:30 Central Time. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. We appreciate you being here. Talk to you all tomorrow.